which you resist persists. So what does acceptance mean? Acceptance means, okay, this is where it's at. So what? Now what? Do the next right thing right. Bring your emotions to the game, but don't let your emotions get the best of you. The bottom line is that we've got to change the work ethic, the approach, and the expectations of the agents. Because here's what you guys both know, and everyone knows. We know that millions of dollars are being lost in everyone's database.
Welcome back to the Reside Platform Podcast. We're really excited because we have Jon Cheplak, the president and co-founder of Reside Platform Podcast, the elite coach to the top teams and broker owners across North America. We're really excited because we talk to him every day and we finally got him on this podcast. We finally got Jon.
Yeah. Well, no,
President. I heard Suneet laugh when the president came out. I'm like, oh man, does that mean I have to work more?
No. And Nick, this is actually Jon's second time on this podcast because him and I did the Hermosi one.
Oh yeah, we did.
Good reminder. Thank you. I forgot you guys did the Hermosi. Okay, good. So Jon, I stand corrected. You've been on your
welcome back
twice.
Yeah.
It's good to be with you guys. It's good to catch up. You know, things are changing quickly, and you know, as you guys are literally, you're behind the curtain twofold. I mean, you're operating your own organizations, but then what you guys are doing every single day is in the Reside environment. I mean, gosh, you're in 3 environments, really. If you take a look at it, you guys are at the ground level running your organizations. Then you both are carrying heavy one-on-one coaching clients, but then you're also at a macro level, you're moving these larger organizations in the Reside platform. So it's an interesting time, and what I'm proud of is that we get to talk from like moment by moment. I mean, 6 a.m. this morning, I'm on coaching call with Ibrahim, and we're talking about what are you doing right now. So I guess it'd be a really good time for us to check in and chat about what's going on.
Yes, sir. It's been fascinating, like what I'm just seeing so different all over the whole country, right? What are you seeing in different parts of the country right now?
Well, let me go to the last 5 weeks. And it's not the wonderful, it's the work that we have to do in these times. And I do it twofold because it's really my mission to serve, lead, and inspire people who want to have a positive life experience as a result of real estate business. I mean, let's start right there. I mean, Suneet, since I've known you, look at your health and fitness compared to where it was. I mean, how much weight have you lost? How consistent are you? I mean, you look at pictures. Nick, I mean, you're now a nationally ranked mountain biker. And I think the most important thing is, before we even get into this, is the foundation of, I'm not saying you got to live like a square peg, but I think the most important thing, and you guys are examples of it, and it doesn't matter where you're at, it just matters that I think that everyone needs to hear is you got to have all of your personal affairs in line and constantly improving those. A strategy or tactic doesn't matter if you don't have that in line. And what's very interesting is that message is resonating big time with people. But I mean, what I'm seeing is I'm seeing shock. I'm seeing shock.
Yeah.
I'm seeing amnesia, if you will. And what I mean by amnesia is so many of the quotes that we've been given, you need to understand that they've got their duality. Is what got you here won't get you there. And I'll come back to I think why we started working together initially in the coaching space and now in a partnership is that there's not much different that you guys are doing today than what you did yesterday. Here's what I mean. Your work ethic. And so it's not like you have this, is there a pain of change? Everyone has the pain of change, but here's what you guys don't have. And here's what I see a lot of people have is they have that pain of going to the gym for the first time in that first week because they weren't exercising the muscle the last 3 to 5 years. And that's normal, and it's not to judge it. And so I think the overarching piece that I would share with you guys that I look at, we always go deeper and for both of you guys to build your business to where it is, a 20% market share that you've experienced over the years, Nick, plus you taking a team to $1 billion, Suneet, is you guys recognize that, okay, there's a level where it's transactional, but now it's the human element of it. And how do you move the human beings that move the money? And it happened by default the last 3 to 4 years. But if you look real closely at our peers and who we work with, the conversations evolved to this higher level of how do you move the people? But you can't move the people until you move yourself. And so right now there's this discovery of it's like a fish out of water for a lot of people because they're having to go back to things that they have not done in years. That's the number one thing that stands out the most to me. Not that complicated.
Yeah. I mean, looking at something that I've seen in my own business and just personally is like, I'm such a systems and process person. Like I'm kind of almost known for that. And sometimes even systems and processes need a little bit more emotion in them, right? And that emotions can really move stuff more than sometimes that systems are. So I've had a little bit of growth just in the sales process mostly, right? Like,
well, what happens?
That's what people are thinking.
I'm a systems and process guy too, Cindy. And so I think what happens is when you have a system in place, a sales process in place, and the market doesn't require it as much, right? The market goes up and you're getting low funnel leads or bottom funnel leads. People are just calling you. The agents and your people start getting, there's distance between them and the process because they don't need it as much.
Yes.
And now we got to go back and get our people back into that system that they forgot about. Now we've been working in it, but just to maintain it, but it's like they forgot all about it. There's atrophy there. And so I don't know if there's something there, but I have the same thing, Cindy, where it's like, okay, let me bring my people back into this process and, oh, we actually need this. Oh, you actually need to go and follow boss. You actually need to do these things.
But also just like, be excited when you talk to a prospect on the phone, right? Like, when do you think the last time I said be excited was? When I've been saying you better nail that fucking script, right? Like,
right. Yeah.
I mean, what are those conversations, Josh? What are the conversations you're having with your people right now?
Well, it's interesting. I had a very reputable leader, and she's up year over year. And doing really, really well. And it was yesterday, we were texting back and forth. And I said, you know what your next managers meeting looks like with your leaders in the boardroom? You let all the leaders on your team know that you need to lead the agents and run the organization as if another lead will never show up. Again, but let me tell you why, though. That's not that the sky is falling and lead flow is down. We understand lead flow is down. No, it's because here's the most critical thing that has to happen. And you've got two choices. And it's the toughest thing. Changing the behavior of human beings. Because here's what we bought into. We know better, but we tiptoed around it. And I say we, I ride alongside you and all my clients and say, I don't tiptoe around it because it's easier for me to say. I'm not the one that's sitting there that's really attached to it at a super high level. But the bottom line is that we've got to change the work ethic, the approach, and the expectations of the agents. Because here's what you guys both know and everyone knows. And Ryan Young knows now as he goes into fellow and it has the trigger on there. We know that millions of dollars are being lost in everyone's database.
Yep.
Still. And it has zero to do with the marketplace. It has to do with the agent's approach to the business. Okay, well, they didn't do something soon enough, so something else is coming. And they were able to get away with that. Whereas, so watch this. I think, I don't know, I don't usually put a lot of predictions out there, but here's what I would say. I don't think it's going to get better soon. And I don't think it's going to get easier. So here are the two choices that team leaders have. Let it keep chunking away and hope, which isn't a great strategy. Hope you bring in some people that don't know any better and will just jump into the database. And you can do that from the bottom up, understanding that you're going to have, the rumblings of the agents here. But as long as you keep these people focused on, listen, you've got to call email text. There's nothing coming next. The only thing that needs to come next is your activity tomorrow. If you can go down that path and hope that changes it. Now it will change it if you stay steady with it. But I think it's wait till you're backed in the corner and then go, gosh, I told you guys you needed to work in the database and do more, or it's, you have this spiritual experience with your agents right now, and you call everyone in and you choreograph it, you frame it, you come with statistical data, you come with proof of concept, and you really move people over to we are going to work the overflow of what we already have. We have not been responsible. We have not been responsible in our leadership. We have not been responsible in what we have allowed. And maybe we even lacked integrity. As I tell leaders, be humble with your people. So we've lacked integrity and let me get away with what allowed you to make an income. But here's what happened. You abandoned, and we abandoned, a truthful process. Now we've got to get you to a truthful process, which is one of, guess what? This is exactly how you do it. Because here's what you can't have in this market. You can't have gaps. You can't have gaps in your follow-up. You can't have gaps. You can't have bad days where you just go, over and over and over again. You're not doing the right activities. You just can't. Now, those that will stay committed and consistent, this is absolute truth. It's been said for years. But those that will commit to the work that's required, what we know the truth is of lead follow, what we know the truth of is that there's millions of dollars sitting in the database. Those that will just stay steady to it and not deviate from the message, they're going to win big.
Yep.
And I'm watching it. I'm watching people that have turned off leads. I'm watching people that have pulled back dramatically from their ad spend. Now that's step one. I'll watch people do step one, but what I'm seeing, the problem is they're not doing. Oh, see, this is
They knew. They knew.
It just, this is AI, you guys. That's another part. AI knows what's funny. But here's what they don't do is step two. Holding agents' feet to the fire to document every activity every day. And that's tough. But what has to be explained out is, and what I'm telling leaders that I'm talking to right now is let your agents know, I've been doing guessing game coaching of you. That was a good one, I guess. Well, I've been doing guessing game training. And let me tell you why. Do you agree that math is the path? Believe there's empirical data that will determine what your outcomes are? Absolutely. How can I genuinely and authentically coach you up and teach you and training you and be that third-party observer to support you to move forward, build your skills, if I don't have the absolute true numbers? And that right there is everything.
The data, dude. Math is the path. I spent the last hour looking at my numbers, right? First thing on a Saturday morning, just like the old school days. I'm not in that ivory tower, right?
And then you go.
Well, and then Suneet, watch this. So let's go back to it too. And I even know with Justin also, okay? And you too, Nick. Like, this is where, sure, there's some subtle changes. You're not having to make as abrupt. You're not going into no man's land, because the year you did $1 billion in sales, you were in follow-up, boss, 24/7. True or false?
Too much. Yep.
Too much.
Way too much.
Justin's team, we look at his track record. Justin's team would say, I saw you're in Follow Up Boss at 1:30 a.m. What are you doing there? Well, and we know how that's worked out. So for you guys, and you too, Nick, for you guys, Nick's in there Nick was listening to recorded calls back during COVID. You guys need to hear this. Here's what I want everyone to hear on this podcast. And so this isn't to judge you, you behaved bad. No, what I want you to recognize is that, sure, there's some things that are different in these two great team leaders and coaches and consultants' business, but not as much as it is for most people, because Nick was listening to recorded calls when they were coming out of COVID and said, wait a minute, how come our market share, we were killing? Oh, here's why. Work ethic. I remember this, Nick. We're crushing it with work ethic while people are sitting back, but now people are re-entering and we're not crushing it as much. We're going from 25% to 20 or 19 or 18 or 17%. And then he listened to recorded calls back then when everyone was making all kinds of money and said, oh, I get what it is. We freaking we weren't lazy in our effort. We were in the time we were putting on, but we were lazy in our approach, like what Suneet was mentioning. You weren't coming to the call excited. You weren't coming to the call with bringing your skills, right?
Yeah.
So Nick, you were doing that then, and that's the reason you have the business you have. Suneet, you were in the database like too much, and you closed $1 billion. Justin, I can remember his exact team in these same times you guys, like back in the COVID days when people are crushing. Justin, what are you doing in the CRM at 1:30 a.m.? What did you do at 3:30 a.m.? I'm winning.
Yeah, I like when people see that shit.
Yep. And that is accountability at some form where they know their leader's watching or is observing and inspecting. And really,
and also to show the partnership, because I'm in it.
Nick, what happened after you started talking about recorded calls that next week? Didn't you start getting phone?
Oh yeah. So check it out. So I just purely start reviewing calls, and I listen to a call, and then I would call Suneet up. Hey Suneet, how'd that phone call go? And they're like, whoa, what? Yeah, the one with Bob. Oh, Bob, what do you mean? What do you mean, Bob? It was good. And I'm like, oh, okay, great. I just want to let you know that I reviewed it, and I wanted to take the time to do a review with you, see how we can improve. And they're shocked.
Suffering right there.
They're shocked. They thought I was on a mountain bike somewhere in the top of, Sage Hill somewhere because I just posted on Facebook, right? And like, no. And so anyway, do you think they talk behind your back? Do you think your people talk behind your back?
Yes.
Right? They're going to talk behind your back no matter what. So how are you controlling that narrative behind their back? I want them to be saying, did you guys know that Nick's listening to phone calls now?
Well, because Nick, here's where the other shoe drops. This is what everyone has to get it to. And we're not talking about an environment of fear. We're talking, and this is the thing everyone needs to hear. And we're talking about, like these guys were talking earlier about bringing emotion to it. Bring your emotions to the game, but don't let your emotions get the best of you. Okay?
Yes.
Because here's what happened. 3 days later, it's like, oh, this is working well. And I'm like, what do you mean? They're now calling me. Hey, Nick, I just got off the phone on that Zillow call and I blew it. I just wanted to let you know.
Buddy.
Yes, just and here's how I'm reflecting. Here's what I'm doing differently, and don't worry, I'm following up. And then on the duality of that, John, they'll call me, hey, Nick, make sure to listen to that one because I crushed it. Let me know.
Yes.
See, so here's the thing I want you guys to hear, though, too, is here's what you're hearing, okay? What you're hearing is that they are in there doing what they could pay someone less to do in the closest to the dollar activity. And the first response you're going to have is, well, let me pull out my rocket fuel book or let me pull up my scale out.
Right.
Great models and say, but you could pay someone else. Oh, no. Wait a minute. Watch where scaling goes further, where you're scaling it at a massive level, because now I want you to see what they're doing. They're not going to listen to every call. They can't. You can't. Okay. But guess what? They're managing a process, a system that manages people. So by listening to a couple calls, they've now created a process that creates a belief that now manages. See, Don't manage the people, manage the culture, the process that manages the people, and look for the things, look closely. This is what I'm telling people, look closely at the things that right now I could pay someone $20, $30, whatever, maybe $100,000 a year to do. Okay. Much less than team leaders make, or hit to make a role. Because if that very, I mean, sure, yeah, people are going through some time right now. Just go sell houses, man.
Right.
But wait a minute. You've got to look at, what am I doing for $15 to $20 an hour right now that I know what it will do in the long run, generate hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars. That's the leverage of tension in the environment, not an org chart. That's scaling you. That's the piece people have to get.
And I look at it as part of a reflection process. How do I know how I'm doing as a leader, a trainer, a coach? How do I know how well my middle managers are doing? The integrators. I gotta see what the client's actually experiencing. What is the client? Because isn't that the lagging measure here? What is the actual interaction like with the people that I'm leading? I remember Suneet was on stage a while ago at Tahoe. It was Tahoe a couple years ago. Suneet, and you were like, if I could, I would put a camera on my agents.
Of course.
What was the point of that, Suneet? You remember that?
Yeah.
Well, so his comedy, of course, which goes in sports inflation.
But dude, it's true, bro. Listen, so after every appointment, so we set appointments on my team, the agents, my ISA department still sets 300-400 appointments a month. I send an email after every appointment to see how it went. And if the client wants to continue working with that agent. Now, my deliverability in that inbox has been a little shitty lately, but because I know that first appointment is where the rubber hits the road, because in my organization, we set the appointments. It's not about that first call. And then, if that's happening, you would expect that's the place that we don't know, right? Is we don't know what goes down in that first house, bro. Mm-hmm. And the only way we can know is if we put a fucking body cam on.
Body. So people understand, Suneet sends an email after the appointment to the client, not to the agent, how to go.
Well, here's the point.
Remember the agent.
Remember presentation in Tahoe on the white glove listing presentation. That listing coordinator assistant goes on every appointment on the listing presentation and brings feedback, which in turn has helped with conversions and getting the proper compensation.
Yeah. Yeah, because you have this like client experience or like a KPI of like after the sale, how did it go? What was your experience, right? Rate us from 1 to 10. Well, that's only on the people that made it to closing. Like,
and what was it? Right after the appointment that the ISA reaches out? How does the appointment go? Rated on 1 to 5. I reach out. How did it go with my agent, Nick? Do you want to work with another agent? That's okay. Just let me know. Because, dude, that's for me, like, I obsess over that first meeting.
And that's where a system holds your agent.
Yeah. And I try and tell them that stat I learned from you about, Redfin paying more to the showing agent who makes it to the third appointment. Mm-hmm. That first appointment is like, let's happen.
Yeah. Well, and here's what it is. It's more of it's an ISA. It's a concierge experience. And I'm going to tell you something. That's the experience. We talked about this before we came on live, I think. Is the concierge we're talking about in our own business. Like, listen, we don't want someone selling people. We want someone, listen, our responsibility is to put so much, and I say this to everyone, the responsibility, if sales are down, you're not bringing enough value to the market. Like, listen, do you need to inspect your sales dialogues, the steps you take, and multiple forms of communication? 100%. 100%. But I think that what's really important is that true caring connection with a human being. That like it's not I'm calling because I want to know if you're buying or selling. No, I'm calling because I truly care about you. Did you get every question answered that you need answered? I mean, that's where I'm going. I mean, I'll talk about my business and throw this out there. Is we talked about this beforehand. I'm bringing on what people would call ISAs. They're not allowed to sell. Were you on the Zoom? Did you get the information you want? Did you get the recording? Was there any other information we can help you with? Is it an area of your business? Are you aware of Suneet's 7-page lead conversion download document that's free that we have? Are you aware of Nick's free online onboarding, a 3 or 4-page document he has? Like value, well, care, because everyone else is ambushing people. Everyone wants to buy. They know what you do. Yeah, there's a time you need to close, but see, the challenge is people are going to, and now more than ever, where was sales skepticism? Where is it now? Like, who's teaching people how to lower the sales skepticism of even a recruit that's sitting at another company and they're paralyzed and they're going broke, but yet they're still paralyzed because change scares them. And that paralyzation will actually paralyze them out of the business when they could go to you, Nick. They could go to Jessica and Reside. They could go to the Borlands. They could go to all these different people, but they're so paralyzed because sales skepticism. So how do you lower sales skepticism? You deposit, you get value, trust.
Yeah.
Where's the word sell in that? No, the sell is a result of it. That's what people forget.
Well, let me ask you something on that note, because we've been talking about ebooks and downloadable stuff, all three of us, for a long time. I fucked around and made like a bunch for buyers and sellers and gave them to my ISAs. We haven't started firing them off yet. I was going to also put them in stuff in different emails in the funnel to see who clicks them for engaged leads. What do you think about having ISAs? Totally off topic, but it's still selfish.
It's on topic. Yeah. We're going to give solutions and talk about real time of what we're doing.
Yeah. So the most common lead magnets for buyers and sellers is a homes list and the value of your home. Do you think these kind of ebooks provide additional value, sending just the thought of giving them?
I do, with the buffer. Okay. And I'll take you back to Sherry Chase. And for those who don't know her, please go to chaseinternational.com. She is a luxury real estate legend. She sold 12 homes in her career, over 30 million, one for 60 million at a commission you'd like to get. That's all I say.
She's a badass.
Yeah. So I'll take you guys back to when I was working with her, I don't know, was it 3, 4, or 5 years? She was sending out, so this is what you got to do to make that work. She was sending out a monthly, actually it was a quarterly community events postcard. Okay. She still does update the community about that. Eva Lynn, who will do 3.5, could be 3.8 million, no Zillow, no PPC, no Realtor.com.
And that's dollars, everybody, not volume.
Yeah, dollars. That's not volume.
In your pocket.
Yeah. She does a community events video every month. What's that have to do with what you're talking about? You got to make those deposits that connect at the human level in their lives first. Then the likelihood of consuming what's closer to the sale goes up dramatically, Suneet. I mean, I would, if here's coaching talk, right? Yeah, it's awesome. But here's what you need to do. You need to create I'm telling you, Sacramento community events for October, or Sacramento holiday event stuff, Tahoe events, because you're the gateway to Tahoe. Like I'm going to go heavy with it. And this is not just, here's a good idea, you guys. I've watched this. I'm watching it happen with clients. So we're not here about, oh, let's throw good ideas out. I've watched this. So you got to layer it with community connection. You got to layer it with the life people are living around the home they're buying or selling. Then when the information comes that has to do with buyers, their likelihood to download it. Oh, this is the guy who, it's not, this is the guy who sent me the 7 tips to get my home ready to sell last week. This is the guy that told me this is why you need a home inspection. This is the guy that sent me the next week why you should do a walkthrough. No, this is the guy that sent me a really nice market update, keeping me abreast of how the market's changed. Okay, that's, it's still informational value. Oh, that's the guy that let me know the top 3 community events that took place. So long answer, short question, you got to layer it underneath that with something community connection.
That's good.
Suneet, let me ask you this. Like, this is great. How did those videos do when you were out, doing videos in Old Town? How did those videos do in Old Town, Sacramento?
Dude, those Old Town ice cream videos did the freaking best, bro. The Old Town one, yes. It's
I'll do it right now.
And when was that video?
Watch this, Suneet.
Oh wait, no, that's it.
Is keeping that steady, but then you can layer the stuff on top, and then they'll consume it. Right? It's the same with me, you guys. The principles are the same in my business. If if I'm putting posts out there that are educational, informational, like for example, the one I did the other day about the grass is greener, team. Agents on a team, they don't want to join a team because of this. Okay, you're proud of your split and embarrassed about your income. It got shared 48 times. Now, watch this. Now, when I come with, hey, I'm doing an event, come buy from me, do you think people, if it's been shared 47 times, it's the same game, you guys, everyone that's listening to this. I gave value to their businesses and lives and the other thing I want you guys to listen to in your messaging, well, what I did is I know the conversation going on in people's head that they want to say, but are afraid to, right? So it's the good old meet people where they're at, give them value, because then when you bring the thing of, hey, consume this, which is going to bring you closer to working with me or even being put into, they're going to be more like, it's like emails, Suneet, and you know this, and working with Perry for years. Send those first 100 emails out and kind of just, like bulldoze down the trees, right? And then it opens up wider and wider because there's value. And then the email service providers go, oh, wow, people are consuming that. Oh, people are liking it. The email service providers say, okay, we'll deliver it.
Yeah. Right.
I remember you sharing what was said on a text, not the actual text, John, where somebody said, I've been consuming your content for 4 years for free. So now I feel obligated to go to your event. And the event was, $2,500 event. To that person was a lot. That's high ticket, right? You can go to events for $300, $50. You can do free webinars until you're blue in the face in this industry right now. But he was like, obviously,
four of them. They were from Phoenix. Came up and said, I have other ones. Well, you've been coaching me for free. I guess I might as well pay you now.
Yeah. No, dude, if people like your free shit, they're gonna love your paid shit, bro.
Yeah,
they think that, right? So,
and I think people need to realize something about real estate is that it's high ticket. Just because it's a percentage and that number looks small on the settlement statement or the transaction, it's a big number. And so we got to, and so yeah, the higher the ticket, the longer the sales cycle. But we pretend like speed to lead is the only thing. We got to knock them over the head. No, it happened. Oh, though that lead, to get to 20% market share to sell $1 billion, that lead happened a long time ago. Before they registered, have they seen my content? Have they consumed something? Have they seen our signs? Have they seen these other things? That happened a long time ago.
Well, it's like the lead people look at that's 6 months old and they think it's bad. It's not bad because it's 6 months old. It's bad because there were only 2 attempts to reach out to it the first week.
Well,
yeah. That's why it's bad. That's the thing. So, I think what I see is you're going to see a couple things, and you're starting to see it, is there's those that are paralyzed. And what I would say to people is this: listen, you got to accept the current condition of the marketplace. You've got to accept that you're going into the holidays. You've got to accept that interest rates are they are. Okay, fine. Those are the uncontrollables. Step one, accepting you have a problem. But that's a universal thing. Like, that which you resist persists. So what does acceptance mean? Acceptance means, okay, this is where it's at. So what? Now what? Do the next right thing right. And I think the thing that the difference between those that will really work through this and do really, really well is they look at what are the 3 most uncomfortable things that I need to do. It's like today, I'm doing a video on it after I get off our Zoom, is what are your 3 non-negotiables every day? And for me, my 3 non-negotiables were drive revenue, okay, my fitness, and give value. Now, there's a 4th in there, and that's family time, and I'm going to a LSU football game, 105,000 people with my wife tonight. But let me talk about
shit. That's
cool. Death Valley. So they've got the earthquake Richter scale. It sets off the Richter. It's Suneet. It's an epic experience.
5,000 people there in Baton Rouge.
What the hell I don't know. There's a few 100,000 live here. What the hell else are they going to do down here, man? They go to football.
The traffic in that place. That place must be a madhouse.
250,000 people sit outside during the game tailgating.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it is good. But here's the point that I want to make. So, just don't complicate it. I do a revenue. I did a coaching call at 6 a.m. on, there you go. See, even Zoom agrees. Coaching call at 6 a.m. My fitness, I was in the gym at 7 a.m. See, Zoom likes this. Number 3, Zoom's not going for this one. Number 3, here's what I'm doing. I'm sitting here right now, and my commitment is to, as is yours, is to give value to the marketplace and make a deposit. I'm not selling anything. I am probably either reminding collaboratively with you, I'm reminding leaders what they need to be doing. I'm updating leaders as you guys are of what they need to be doing. And so right there, I have by 9:55 a.m. right now, fitness, revenue, deposit.
Does that go back, John, to, well, that's a commitment you make, and so that commitment shows up every day. You mentioned something the other day to us. I think it was on a Reside Ops meeting or something like that, or a text string about, it's amazing what you can get done in 30 days, something along those lines. Because I think you went on this beast mode. Maybe you can talk to people about that or share that with me. What did you do in 30 days? Because you were on a tear. Public speaking, public speaking, speaking of FubCon.
Yeah,
but you did something else too. You also went to Hawaii before that, right?
Yeah, that's the interesting thing is you'll put these posts up there, and that's the thing too. You guys write this down, everyone that's listening. As we go into this, you will not be impacted and affected or slowed down by external noise as long as you are ruthlessly committed to your internal standards. Period. Because if you're ruthlessly committed to your internal standards, which means the activities you need to do every single day, you're going to feel good about yourself. Think about this. You don't feel good about yourself when you don't take the actions. You think it's the outcome that you don't feel good about. Baloney. Get underneath it. It's the activities. It is the activities. So just remember that premise. So yeah, I did. And I want to add something underneath it though, too, because there's always something underneath it. Yeah, I saw these opportunities, and I can, listen, first of all, it's a privilege, and I don't want this to come off wrong. It is a privilege anytime I'm asked to speak anywhere, period. I don't have amnesia. I remember when I hoped I could get someone to even pay for a plane ticket for me to come, and I remember when I paid for the plane ticket to come out. So don't get me wrong there. But with that said, when you start looking at a family life and road, time away, it was almost 5 weeks. I know that it's critical to give value to the marketplace. I know that in 30 days, In 30 days, you can change your life. You can change your business. If you go back, and I'd say to everyone, do a 30-day diary of your meals, do a 30-day diary of your exercise, do a 30-day diary of your work day, and see how closely I can, because every single day I print mine out and I look at it the night before. And so, yeah, I went on a run. It was funny. Someone wrote, Jon Cheplak did it, which was kind of exaggerating, but I like the compliment. Jon Cheplak had a schedule that a Navy SEAL would be afraid of, which not true. But I did 13 coaching calls. I'm at the gym at 1:30 in the morning. Then I did 13 coaching calls, and I had 5 one-hour masterminds of 45 people a piece with 15-minute breaks in between. Oh my gosh. And yeah, where's your family life? Where's this? Where's that? Oh, I don't know my family life. I flew them all to Hawaii for 10 days in April, got married, took my wife to the Four Seasons for 10 days in July for our honeymoon. Then I came back and I took my mother-in-law, my father-in-law, a niece, stepdaughters, and Lexi and Finn to a home in Florida for 8 days on the beach.
You look dope, by the way.
Well,
Yeah.
I had an elevator in the damn house. And this isn't to look at me, I'm wonderful, but I want to share with you all the other side. Now, listen, you've got to make sacrifices. So here's what I know. There's many reasons I did it. Number one, it's real easy because that's my mission. Serve, lead, inspire people who want to have a positive life experience as a result of the real estate business. Number two, I know being face-to-face, toe-to-toe, knee-to-knee in front of people physically can impact them more than sitting here on Zoom. I also know, too, to be my very, very best. And these are the things that y'all need to go through as your own process. I know that having these conversations and hearing real time, then when I need that conversation, talk to someone else, I can be a transference of that value. I can be a vessel and bring it to them. It's why I don't need to do coaching calls anymore. Don't need to for my business. I will, when I'm done with coaching calls in my career, I'm done in the business. Because then I'm sitting here at this place that is so disconnected from what's really, really going on. And so, and then the other part too is to demonstrate what's required. The mistake leaders make is if your people aren't doing what you want them to do, look in the mirror and ask yourself, what are you not doing in your life?
Right.
Be disciplined, committed, where are you not showing that? So there was that. But here's what I want to share with people though. This is the piece people miss. You've got to sit down with your children, your family, your significant other, because I can guarantee there's a lot of things people want to do, but they're not taking care of home. And my wife is a goer. She's busy, but you know what? Family, man, that's the best thing about coming down to the South, man, is I've experienced family like never before with her and her values and her parents and brother and sister-in-law and the nieces and all that stuff. You've got to sit down with your family and let them know we're going through a season. And this is what the season's going to require. Because I think a lot of people that are listening to this, you know what you need to do. And you're actually willing to. See, there's capable and willing. And I believe everyone's capable. Not everyone's willing, but let's assume you're capable and you're willing. But there's this other thing that's going to hold you back. Like, it's going to hold you back at home, and you have someone that says to you, yeah, don't go to the gym. You don't need to. You know what? My wife will say to me, hey, listen, I know it's been a long day and I want some time and this and that, but listen, you need to make sure you get to the gym. I mean, it's that type of, the teamwork that you have to have at home is so, so critical. And I just want to impress that on everyone. When you look at it, it's easy to say, oh yeah, you go out and you're a killer. And you go out and you go at 1:30 a.m. in the gym. Like someone took that. It was funny. That's the post someone woke up, 1:30. I think it worked out at 2:30. I was in coach calls at 4:30, 13 calls. But where's your family time? Get a life. It's called 24 hours, dude. But you don't care about that because I know what my internal standards are with my family. And I know the conversations I've had with them. So I think that's the important thing, really, that everyone needs to capture is you've got to have a cheerleader. And I'm not saying, and I was a Lone Ranger forever, man, there's nothing better than having a cheerleader, but you're not going to have that cheerleader You're not going to have that voice of reason that you need to with a significant other, and you're going to have conflict if you don't sit down and have them truly be a part of it and in understanding what we're doing. I think that's a thing that people really, really miss, man. Go have that sit down with people. I'll do it on my coaching calls. Okay, John, what do you think we need to do? Well, I mean, you need to go back and dig in and sell a bunch of real estate and run a business. But here's what I want you to do. Or you need to go into reserves. Would you rather do that? But what you need to do is you need to sit down with your significant other and say, here's where we're at in the business.
Right.
Here's where we're at in the business. We can okay, here's been our savings plan, or here's been our wealth building plan. But now with this marketplace, it's not the same anymore. And I've got to go sell while we're running that, which is going to keep us on the trajectory. Or I can stay doing the same stuff. I'm going to go lop some things on, but we're going to go into reserves. I mean, it's those type of conversations people need to have in this time. So I think that's a piece of comments.
At the same time, I'm hearing so many success stories from coaching clients, Reside team leaders. It's incredible. Dude, killers. I was talking to a coaching client been with me for a few years, John and Leslie Foster. One of the
best month ever?
Best 2 months ever in the Bay Area.
Yeah, dude.
So their average price point is like 1.2, and I'm like, wait, is it a bunch of cash buyers? No, Suneet. So it's the Bay, in the East Bay Area.
I know where they're at. Yeah, they're along that corridor between Pleasanton and Walnut Creek.
Yeah, Castro Valley.
Well, they're Castro Valley. Okay.
Yeah. Oh. I used to live there for a summer.
Really?
Not my favorite place.
I got in trouble. That's fine.
Yeah, there wasn't enough trouble. It was 40 minutes to get to San Francisco.
Let's point this out to them. Those are good, soulful, heart-filled human beings, and their family is everything. And I'm not saying your family isn't everything, but I can see that family sitting down and having a conversation about, here's the business decisions we have to make, but here's the family things we need to keep in place. They're just sweet, sweet people. I saw them at, I think they popped into one of my masterminds.
Yeah, I bet. Dude,
yeah.
How about Steve Myers?
I got someone down the hall that passed last year. The boss of my life.
Yeah. So, and I mean, another success story on the ground level of my organization is recently we brought on two, maybe 3-year experience each agents to the organization. The last 2 weeks, guys, they came in, got through onboarding. You got 2 friggin' escrows each off of like 15 leads given to them. So,
well, and it's work. Gelman, you guys, Gelman's at OG. Gelman's been recognized. He's got this big business. Gelman doesn't. I don't think Gelman needs to work anymore. He might get pissed I said that, but I think he's made responsible decisions, investments, and things. And Gelman's door knocking with his agents.
Yeah,
Gelman is calling and guess what? Record-breaking month in the history of his business that's been in existence for years. So it is. The stories are out there, but they're real. They're real, and it's just a matter of choice people make.
Well, I was wondering, John, so Reside, not a sales pitch or anything like that, just taking you inside a Reside platform. We launched July 1st, and you run the Monday leadership meetings, right? Every single Monday. That's a commitment, right? And so that happens no matter what. And I'm just wondering, how much of the value is these things are happening no matter what, like that consistency and commitment? And what is your pulse? What have you experienced?
First thing that I've experienced is the show up rate. It's easy for people to get into something that they know is there and just go, well, I can listen to the recording. I can this. The conscientious level of commitment they have is big. But let me go to a definitive point. either Dean Graziosi said this or Brendan did when they were up on their two stools when I was with them in April.
That's Brandon Burchard, everybody.
Yeah. 50-person mastermind, and with him again November 2nd and 3rd. It was Brendan. He gave us his 8 steps. I have my notes. He gave us his 8 or 10 steps to building a brand. Like practically overnight. Not overnight, but you guys know how that goes. Yeah. He said, staying power. And what he meant by staying power is just show up every week or every day at the time you say you're going to say, at the time you say you're going to be there, and it builds trust. And people want to just know you're going to be there. There is so much value in that. And then that's a foundational piece to the most powerful thing you can do in business is building community. People talk about culture and community. What's culture? Oh, well, we go axe throwing and we make a really good potato salad and fried chicken buffet. I mean, like the way that people look at culture. Culture has a substance to it, and that substance is staying. The substance are the principles. The substance are the values. Staying power. Staying power is that one. It's a lighthouse. That's what it is. Can you be the lighthouse? And what an appropriate time. Seas are rocky. It's foggy. People are looking for that lighthouse. And so I think I'm seeing in the coaching business, as you guys are, you'll see it with the consumer. Before anyone could help someone, now people are really discerning on who they're going to choose to work with. Before it was fast. Fast isn't the game anymore. Availability, willingness, those things are critical, but being consistent is everything. You look at the fallout rate of escrows. What's that about? Oh, interest rates, this and that. Watch this. I'll go to a different place. It's selling based on the external decisioning process, which is quicker. The external decisioning process is overselling. When you move someone to a contract or agreement with the external decisioning process, number one, they're going to go ask someone's opinion immediately. They may go through, and guess what? Everyone's an expert.
You're right.
So then number two, so this is where like these times are exciting for me because I know the psyche underneath. So they're going to ask someone's opinion. You're screwed right there.
Oh, totally screwed.
You're screwed. It's over. And that's a result of them questioning themselves. Number three,
crush it.
Well, somebody that don't know, John has something turned on his Zoom that when he moves his hands, like you got balloons and thumbs up, and it's the most comical thing.
No, the fireworks haven't gone off yet. Damn it. So here's number three. When they do close, if they do complete the sale, they have buyer's remorse. So here's the internal decisioning process, which allows self-discovery, which is based on educating and informing and knowing and liking and trusting, where they convince you, I'm doing it. This is mine. They're going to shout on the rooftop and tell everyone. They're going to defend their decision to everyone. And those are the subtleties. Well, the internal decisioning process, moving someone to that takes more work. That's called facilitation. And so these are the subtleties and nuances. You can script and dialogue the living daylights out of people. And it's important. Those are foundational, but now you've got to go, okay, great. But now what's that next level? It's seek first to understand, then be understood. It's entering the conversation going on in their head. It's handling objections in advance. It's attaching to the process, not the outcome.
Dude, I heard a quote from Cialdini the other day, Robert Cialdini, author of...
Cialdini.
What?
Cialdini.
Okay, Cialdini. I haven't said it wrong for a long time.
Everyone does.
I want to see freaking laughing emojis come up now.
I've been saying it wrong for a long time, decade. He's like, in sales, we're always taught to have people like us, like to be likable, which is one of the principles, which is one of his laws of persuasion. But he said, as a salesperson, it's your job to find ways to like the prospect, right? To get in there and like, no, dude, Nick, right? John, right?
You know what, frankly, Frank had said, one of our coach galleries chatting with him, and his entire leadership team comes on. He's just a legend, pro.
Oh, genie for sure, dude.
Just a pro. And Frank says, he says, I want you to call the people. I want you to think about almost like, what are you giving them? Not what you can get from them. I want you to have what are you going to give them today? Every call. What are you going to give them? What are you going to give them? What are you going to give them?
Write that down, every viewer and listener.
I mean, this is like a master class. This is a master class.
Master, yes.
I mean, just the thought of like, if they're making external decisions based on external factors, they're going to seek other people's opinion. You're screwed. Unless interest rates are dropping and sales prices are going up, then they're going to be validated and confirmed. But to be a master at this game, and I don't mean game like we're playing the game. We're playing a game that
it's a game, and it's not manipulation. Manipulation is getting someone to do something they don't want to do. That's manipulation, right? I mean, we're facilitating them forward. It's like it is, saying, hey, listen, I can totally argue. Here's what I'd say is always argue both sides. Listen, here's the argument for it, and say the things you'd be afraid to say to someone because it might make them not make that decision. Here's why you shouldn't do it with integrity. Here's the reason you should do it. Now, what my job, I'm here to just counsel and leave those options out to you. And guess what? They're going to respect it. They talk about it because you counseled. You looked at both sides. Because you just got to know now more that there's sales skepticism sky high. And if you go all in, here's why you got to buy, here's why you got to sell. You go all in there, the wall's up. That's process. Stay in the process, man. Outcome will take care of itself. Always does.
Yes, I love that. Well, this has been good.
Guys, what better way to end it? I mean,
I know, right?
Yeah.
Well, we can go on
this morning, and everyone out there listening, watching, whatever, we're here to contribute. I mean, that's the bottom line. We're all for-profit businesses, but I think if you look at the Reside podcast, I'd say this to you: if you never work with us at Reside, if you never sign up for coaching with Nick or Suneet, I can promise you this: watching these podcasts, follow them and their posts. Because, and this is true and it is genuine, we are attached to contribution. That's our KPI. Did we give enough to the marketplace? And the rest will take care of itself. I'm not saying be, ignorant, not look at your numbers, but the days of attribution and where business, their history. Yeah. Oh, I got that from door knocking. You did? Well, how about your social media post that you did a market snapshot a week ago that went out there geographically? You don't think they saw that too? Sorry, they need to see multiple forms. So I just want to say, stay obsessed with it, consume all this content, and then who knows? Maybe we'll never work together, but we really, really are. And what we know, and I want you to get is, as long as we're contributing somewhere else, it's interesting how things will show up. Oh, look at that, showed up magically. It didn't show up on accident. It showed up because we had purpose and intention over here. That's how that equation really, really works. But at the same time, too, if you want to explore coaching, reach out to Nick and Suneet for one-on-one, or explore Reside.
And also, I think we need to let everybody listening that if they haven't signed up for that Maverick event yet in December, John, what's the name?
Cheplak, www.cheplakmaverick.com. We have got a lineup, as we always do, 20 plus. We're going 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. because it's what is needed. Every speaker is required to give you something you can take back immediately. Suneet will be speaking, Nick will be speaking, our partner Preston, and many, many others. CheplakMaverick.com. There's 265 people already registered, and it's December 2nd and 3rd. CheplakMaverick.com.
All right, good.
The opportunity to meet us personally. We'd love to see you. We'd love to talk to you.
I'm excited for that event. I think the room is going to be killer.
Yeah, it's just typical Jon Cheplak in terms of like, okay, he never reduces the cost of the ticket price. They're $2,500 a piece. And so he does. And the moment he does, he makes the lineup even better. Like you would think someone would drop the price and then extract a little value to make it equate, let the value equate to the value. No, Jon does the opposite. He lowers the price. Just check this out, everybody. When he gave a discount, he jacks up the value. And people don't understand this guy. And he says, "Oh, the people don't who is this guy? I don't understand him." But you just
more.
More always more. And guess what's going to happen when he puts the price back up to $2,500? He has a new standard, and he's okay with that. So it's going to be an amazing event. The lineup is insane, and we'll be there. And I'm bringing people with me. This is the event you bring your ops manager with you, your sales manager with you, your top producer with you. And I'm not selling it except for this is your opportunity to show people what you've experienced and how much you care and how much you're willing to invest in this marketplace. So,
and it's on a weekend. So bring your family to Green Valley because it's super good for family. We're buzzing everybody in,
Oh yeah, man. Cool.
Yeah. Good.
Awesome.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate you, man. It's good to hang.